Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
There's Mr. Enfuego, one half of the Baseball Junkies podcast. Before we get the show going, we just want to make sure that both you, the viewer, and the listener are fully aware that this podcast is not intended to provide any form of investment advice. The opinions expressed here by either the host or any guest do not necessarily reflect the views of any sports card investor, organization, and or entity within the sports card market. Any discussion of sports card values in the past or present is not a guarantee of future performance. Two collectors with a common love of baseball cards. A league of her own, Mr. Enfuego. Welcome to the Baseball Junkies podcast.
Welcome to another week of the Baseball Card Junkies podcast. I'm your host, Adrian, from A League of Our Own on YouTube.
And I'm your boy, Mr. Enfuego.
Dude, the chat is already fired up. We're fired up. Thank you guys for being with us here live on YouTube. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcast format, come check us out live sometimes. It's fun here. How was your week, Mr. Enfuego? How's it going?
It's been great. No
Yeah.
complaints, except
good.
until later on in the banter,
Yep. His book showed up. I'll just say that.
I've been
His book
choosing
showed up.
violence since Thursday.
It's been a violent week for both of us. We'll just get right into the good stuff here. Thank you guys again for joining us. Let's talk about the upcoming releases. All right, as far as baseball cards go, what we've got coming up here next Wednesday, the 17th, we've got Topps 2024 Topps Chrome Black. Is it 2024 or is it 2023? It's 2023, isn't it?
I believe it's 23, yeah.
God, catch up already. All right, it's about 160 bucks. You get about 4 cards in there. The big one is you get an encased autographed card in there. You also get a numbered parallel in that as well. First year this came out, 2020, was pretty decent. Beautiful cards. Last couple years it just hasn't been hitting right. You know, the autos have just, for the most part, been lackluster, but nonetheless, it is a beautiful design. It's about 160 bucks. Will you be opening some? I won't.
To be determined.
Ooh, it's always to be determined. All right, fair enough. We also have coming out on April 24th. This is 2024 Onyx Vintage. This is a product. We've talked about this the last couple of episodes. This is no logos, no uniform, no cities, no nothing on them, but kind of a cool design. Nothing too crazy. The crazy that's coming out now, we got to wait a few weeks for this, is Bowman. 2024 Bowman is coming out. We're gonna have the new prospects. We're gonna have some rookie cards in there. That is gonna be awesome. There was a pre-order that dropped on Topps last week. We talked about on the podcast. Jumbo's about 500 bucks. Hobby boxes about 260. I am seeing on Steel City Collectibles and stuff now, you can go on there and pre-order your blasters and such for about, the normal about $25 to $30. I'll say that. But once that comes out, that's going to be nonstop craziness on all the channels. Bowman's always one of those products that just hits. That is all we have for the upcoming products, and we're going to get right into the reviews as well. All right, we got one and only review this week as far as products being opened on channels, and that is 2024 Topps Heritage. And surprisingly, I didn't hate it. Topps Heritage is a set collector kind of set. It's a 500 card set. They're normally high number short prints in that people take time to collect and get all those. They're a little bit more short print. They're harder to get. This year they did it backwards, and they did the first 100 cards
minus one out of that first 100. I believe it's card 82.
It's missing, and they're gonna put it out in another set. Yeah, they do that all the time. They do that every year too. It's weird, but whatever. Saw several hobby boxes of it get open. I did see very first one I watched was on Striker Breaks, and he opens it up in his box stopper. So there's a card in there that's an oversized card that you get in your hobby boxes, and they can be autoed. It's very rare, but he got a Mike Schmidt. That was freaking awesome. I've of all the other stuff I've seen open hobby boxes of it, I've only seen 1, 2 autos pulled, because there's no guaranteed auto
right
in these. I've seen a lot of relics.
I do like that the autographs are spread out through the formats, because I know there was a break that we got into earlier this week and there were no autographs, but yet I did see a video where blasters were open and both blasters had autographs.
You said, yeah, that's right. You told me you saw a couple blasters have autos pulled out. I wonder if it's just continuing on where kind of with I feel like with Series 1, that retail feels like a better deal.
Yeah.
I know it's crazy, but it is a really beautiful card set. It has the 1975 design that they're showing this year there, and it's always got like odd short printed cards. Like if you're not careful, you could have a short printed card or a parallel of some sort and
And
not
you just
realize.
won't know it.
Yeah, you got to check the back of the cards near the numbering. There's usually something that'll say either a color swap or an error or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. I did see there's the white border
Yeah.
parallels. I don't know if you saw over on Card Deal, he pulled a Jason Dominguez white border. That was pretty cool.
We also got to witness our first superfractor pull too.
We saw that. We'll talk about that later because that's big league, but
Yeah.
we'll talk about that better. But as far as Top Heritage goes, it's out. It's about $100 a hobby box. And I actually picked up a mega box of it. I'm waiting in the mail because Target randomly this week, I don't remember if it was Monday or Tuesday, did 20% off trading cards. I put it in the Discords and posted it on Instagrams to let people know, but all for just one day only, they were doing 20% off. So I bought a mega box of Heritage, so that'll be here probably next Saturday. And I bought the like super box of Series 1 just to take advantage of 20% off. That's an awesome deal. So if you guys are ever wondering about deals and stuff like that, like there's a section in the Discords that are both in the description that we link in there to like kind of give you guys a heads up. And then I post on the Instagrams. Mr. Infuego does the Twitter or X side of things. So just keep a lookout for that. Okay. We have so much hobby news. Shall we?
Shall we? We shall.
All right. I don't know where to start with as far as big news this week. I think I'm going to kind of go in chronological order here somewhat.
Well, I mean, we can pose the question of pick your poison.
Okay.
We could either go to Cleveland for 3 days and hang out at the festivities over there, because if we've gone to the National more than once, we know what to expect.
All right.
Or,
so Mr. Infuego's going straight for the jugular. Go.
Or for some of you who's never taken in the sights of a mega city or the city that never sleeps, you can go to the first inaugural sports cards version of a Comic-Con that is going to be held at the Jacob Javits Center shortly after the National.
And what Mr. Infuego is talking about is Fanatics announced this week that they are doing their very first Fanatics Fan Fest in New York, April 8th to the 11th, I believe it is. And they keep saying it's the same time as the East Coast National. I don't know can you tell me what the East Coast National is? I don't even know what they're talking about. Everybody's saying
they're just talking about the regular National. I mean, it's called the National, which you would think it's nationwide, but they should change it to East Coast Convention.
But they're not. But they're saying it's the same time as the Nationals in July. But what's the East Coast National?
Shortly after.
What's shortly after?
FanFest.
Okay, there's something else going on the same time as FanFest, I believe. So, okay, and I could see the chat going off about they're not. Yes, they are not the same thing. We know the National and FanFest, two separate things. So the National in Cleveland at the end of July is sports cards, all trading cards, all focused on that. The Fan Fest is going to have like tops and like Fanatics Live breaking stuff, but it's more of a sports event. Like as far as like they're going to have lots of like Fanatics gear, like you can buy uniforms and hats and stuff like that. There's a lot of big names there, like Derek Jeter, Tom Brady, Sabrina Ionescu, which is the one I'm most excited about, to be 100%, because she's an Oregon Duck, so she was awesome. Hulk Hogan, all of them.
Yep. Eli and Peyton Manning.
Yep, and
And when those two were together on screen, it's just hilarious.
yeah, and from everything that I've read so far, like there's not like dealer tables or anything at that. This is like a different type of event. Like PSA is going to be set up there, Tops is going to be set up there, but you also have like lids and different like different companies with their different products. So there's going to be like giveaways and like exclusive things there. Kind of like you go to the National and there's not like when you go to Tops or whatever, they have packs that are just for the National. There's going to be like different stuff at each of these booths that's like got exclusive stuff that's just for that event only. Very similar to what Comic-Con does.
Right.
There's several videos. I'll put some in the description. They're going back and forth of which one to go to, kind of thing. And there's, different arguments. We're like, oh, okay, the National is in Cleveland and people aren't really hyped about going to Cleveland, Ohio on a vacation but they usually go to National. Now, New York City offers a lot more for a vacation, for traveling and stuff like that. It sounds like the place where this Fanatics Fan Fest is at is like a really cool like venue.
It is.
Cleveland, Ohio. I just recently went to Cleveland, Ohio like a year ago for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And looking up where the National is going to be at, it's like in this convention center that's right next to the airport, not anywhere near downtown Cleveland. It's not near any of the fun like stuff that Cleveland has to offer as far as like when I was there, I stayed in the downtown area, walked to Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I could walk to where the Cleveland Cavaliers played, walk to where it wasn't football season, but I could walk to where the Browns play and like all the downtown area stuff where if you're going to Cleveland for the National, I forget whose video they're watching. You're going to have to Uber everywhere if you're trying to like do anything. I don't think when you're at the National, there's any places nearby to eat and stuff like that. And other than the airport.
And it's kind of the same way with Fan Fest and its location in New York City, because more than likely you're going to fly into one or two airports, John F. Kennedy, or you're going to fly into LaGuardia. Once you fly in and you get into Manhattan, disregard anything about cars. You're not going to need it. Everything is in walking distance. Food, entertainment, hotel, you name it, it's all there. Yes, it's going to be pricey. That's why you got to do your due diligence, research everything in advance if you do plan to go. But I guarantee you, it's an experience you're gonna have fond memories of later on down the road.
So, with this like Fanatics Fan Fest news dropping, it makes me pump the brakes on going anywhere. I was telling Mr. Fuego, because I am one of the West Coasters. I am on the West Coast, and I want one of these shows at the very least coming over to at least Vegas, that far over. And I feel like Fanatics is not going to just focus on just the East Coast. I feel like they're going to go all over the country, major cities.
That's the whole.
So it makes me want to wait until they come to a city closer to me. Now, I am very aware that it's not all going to mostly be about sports cards like the National is. So it makes me think I should at least go to one National in my lifetime kind of thing. And we were both talking about going to the National this coming summer. So now I'm just up in the air with it, and we'll wait and see as more information drops on that. Keep you posted here as much as we can on the podcast. Okay, so that was a big one. The other big one was the whole PSA partners with eBay. eBay takes over Goldin auctions, all this stuff. Boom, one shot this week. This is a big news, and I got to tell you this as someone that's more of a collector, not really an investor at all. This partnership is going to have me dabbling in things that I don't normally dabble in. The eBay vault, the PSA vault, because eBay's PSA's taken over the vault. Okay, so PSA vault. So I send in things to PSA all the time, and a lot of the times I send in one or two cards that I plan on selling. as for, to pay for my PSA submission. So this is intriguing to me to now click on the option to keep my graded card at
Bulk the
PSA
items.
in their vault, post it directly on eBay, and then they take it, they ship it to that person or whatever that person wants to do. Maybe that person wants to keep it in their vault. I don't ever have to touch the card or deal with worrying about losing it or not finding it, or I don't got to worry about packaging it. So I'm gonna dabble in this. Some of the questions that I saw in other videos, and I have these questions too, like, just because I've never used the vault before, and I will find out soon, I'm wondering, can I decide at the last minute? Like, I don't want to tell you before I get my grade, like if I want to go to the vault, because if it doesn't like gem, I might not want to sell it. So once I get my grade, can I then say, all right,
Well,
keep it at PSA?
I did notice because I just recently got my grades back from my most recent return, and the option was there even after it checked off as being grades ready. But as soon as it gets into the completing stage, that option is no longer available.
There. So you got to be on top of it. Like once it
you
gets
got to manage, you got to monitor it daily.
So once the grades are available, boom, I got to say, oh, keep that at the vault. Yeah, I like that. That's I feel like that's super smart that they did that, because someone like me that likes to have all my cards here in front of me and I don't want to deal with vaults and stuff like that. This will make me use a vault and give it a try. So I'm excited about that. Now, also the whole eBay and the Goldin auctions thing, that's interesting too.
That's a win-win situation for both parties.
100%, because I have tried to go onto Goldin auctions and like dabble, but I'm just comparing it with eBay, and I'm like, I feel like a lot of time people are overpaying for lower level stuff. Now, don't get like Goldin's where you go for the big boy stuff,
for the high end stuff. Yes,
I can't afford the high end big. So I'm going there to watch people buy stuff on there and see what it goes for. But all the low end stuff, like I'm like, why would I ever buy anything on Goldin? It like the low end side of things,
right?
It doesn't make any sense. But if you're doing it on eBay, it makes a lot of sense.
Because right now this actually expands Goldin, because Ken still owns Goldin. He's just under the eBay umbrella.
Yeah.
This actually expands his clientele, because like you said, Goldin is not known for running auctions on flagship, for example. They're more on anything 4 figures or higher.
Yeah, you got your Tom Brady autographed thing. Like that's what I think of with Goldin, and it's like it's just out of my wheelhouse. I'm not going to buy from them. This will make me look at them.
And then with eBay, it expands their clientele to actually start broadcasting all those high end stuff.
And I think with like saw this on another channel too. So I'm just thinking all the information. PWCC used to be the like higher end thing that was on eBay, but all those shenanigans happened with PWCC, the shill bidding, all blah blah blah, whatever. So this gets eBay back in that game, and God. eBay, like with Goldin prices, like eBay getting their cut. God, that's nice. That's good for eBay. All right, cool. I'm just gonna drop this real quick here in the hobby news, and we're gonna go more into the banter. But Sports Card Investor, his book is out. Sports Card Collecting and Investing for Dummies. It's on eBay. I put the link in the description if you want to partake in that. And also tonight is the night. It's still going on right now. Jeff Wilson is doing his live trade night from Cards HQ. I've been in and out of it today, kind of just checking it out. But my biggest thing was I went to the website to see stuff that he is selling in Cards HQ that you could buy online. So he said it's not his entire inventory that he has in the store, because he's got to have some stuff for people that are there. But I was going through the baseball and everything. There was some cool stuff on there, and all of it seemed to be priced right to me. So the trade night stuff that I was watching, when I was watching, I never saw him doing trades. He was Gin and Juice, the guy from Loot TV, Loot Box, Gin and Juice, they started to show their stuff. I don't know if he ended up doing a trade with them. And then now when I was in there, he was doing whatnot sales. I'm going to take a peek, but Jeff Wilson's got things moving right now. Oh man, he has an A's card on there right now. Rookie. I can't. Anyways, whatnot. I don't buy on whatnot anymore, so I'm not into it. Anyways, that's what we have for that. Mr. Fuego wants to talk about the book. We're going to get that in the banter. Another thing in the banter, tag. You guys know I've talked about tag. Both of us have talked about tag grading, and I want to just real quick. Tag grading, we're not sponsored by them. Never ever. Never took a dime from tag. Never ever. We just dabbled in it, tried it out, love the slabs. They got a lot of work to do, and then they dropped some news this week about making custom cards. And it threw me into a whirlwind of being pissed off like I couldn't believe. But I messaged him about it. I'll talk about that more in the banter. But if you're interested in custom cards by tag, I don't know why you would be, but if you are, hit me up in the comments. Let me know. That's happening. That's tag's latest news of moving forward. They didn't talk about grading more cards because they can't grade vintage. They can't do autos. They can't do acetate cards. They can't do this. They can't. A lot of can'ts on the stuff that a lot of us want, but they got their custom cards.
Save some for the banner.
I can't help myself. I'm sorry. Okay, moving on. As far as the Sports Card National, we got Pedro Martinez added to the signee list.
He's been dubbed a special guest, though.
Ooh. Well, he's Pedro Martinez. He is a special guest. What does that mean as a special guest in the National?
I'm assuming his ink comes with a premium. I don't know.
Copy that. Okay. And there was a lot of stuff in the news, sports card news about Star Stock this past week. Now I had to read up because I've never used Star Stock, never thought to use Star Stock, and now it sounds like it's a good call that I never even bothered with them. Their biggest thing that happens this week is they are starting to charge fees for storage of cards that you have with them. And it was like a penny a card, which when I think of that, like, I don't think like a penny a month don't seem like a big deal to me. But it sounds like other people were really upset about that. And I guess if you don't pay these fees, they acquire your cards. Damn.
Yep.
That's stepping it up a notch. So I put some links for some more stuff with the Star Stock thing. This is another one of those vault companies that, popped up during the COVID time when the cards were like popping in and all that stuff. And it just sounds to me like they've just turned into straight garbage ever since. That's just how it's perceived to me. I don't know if you've got a different view on that, Mr. Fuego.
I mean, I don't really know enough about Star Stock to give an opinion, to be honest.
That's fair. That's fair. Did you watch Sports Card Radio this past week?
I did.
Did you see that one of the guys from Star Stock, pretty much like sent him like a death threat message?
Yes.
It's like,
yes.
Gave him his home address, his parents' address. It was like trying to scare them. To me, I was like, oh my God, this is awful. I love how Sports Card Radio is just like, whatever, like, just like you guys, right. But this is a person that worked for Star Stock, and that just gives me a whole idea of what kind of a company it is.
It gives you a different perspective.
Yeah. You're hired. So shout out to Sports Card Radio. I'm sorry you got to deal with. I'm sure they deal with stuff like this all the time, but God, guys, it's cards, man. We're just talking about our opinions on it. Jesus, yes. Calm down. So, all right, we had.
But some other big news, though, Adrian.
Beckett. Yes, sir. What we got going on with Beckett, sir?
Well, Beckett is trying to be competitive now, and I'm thinking they're probably going this route because of new leadership that they actually have. So
Okay.
I don't have all the figures in mind, but they dropped the prices on their grading services, and they also shortened the turnaround time for their services as well.
So for all our listeners out there, how do you guys feel about that? Because I know we've got some people that have been in the hobby for a lot of years, and Beckett was at one time number one. A lot of new people in the hobby don't even know who Beckett is, because Beckett like went straight down the toilet. They're just garbage.
Beckett was the go-to until PSA made their name known.
Yeah, and I feel like Beckett didn't stay up to speed with things, like as far as like doing submissions online and things of that nature. So, like Mr. Fuego said, new owner, we got new news stories coming out talking about how they're lowering their grading fees, making their turnaround times quicker. They're just trying to move back in the right directions. Is that enough to get people to start using them again? Or maybe you're someone that used to love Beckett and you stopped using them because they weren't doing great things. Is this going to get you to give them a try again? Let us know what you think in the comments, or definitely let us know in the after hour show on Mr. Fuego's channel about 30 minutes after tonight's podcast. I'd love to hear what you have to say, because for me personally, Beckett isn't even on my radar. Now, I never did grading back in the day when they were number one. I do remember, I have seen plenty of Beckett. I've been told like Beckett, this and that, good things back in the day.
Yes.
And their value obviously still holds for sales, like on eBay and stuff. They might have dipped maybe just a smidge, but I mean, not with the pristine black label and stuff like that. But I am very curious to see if the changes they're making are going to move them forward in the right direction. Okay. Well then, almost right on the dot, I feel like, for trivia. What do you think, boss?
Let's get some trivia going.
All right, guys, get ready. The trivia is starting. As soon as you know what it is, type it in the comments. Let's get it.
If you need the latest on baseball card news in the hobby, then you're in the right place. It's time for the trivia of the week. Name the brand. All right, let's go. Hint 1. This brand is currently headquartered in Carlsbad, California. Any ideas yet? What about this brand was founded 36 years ago in Yorba Linda, California? Nothing yet? How about this hint? This brand was the first to produce and randomly insert autographed cards in baseball card products. Any ideas? Well, if you don't know, the brand is Upper Deck. See you next week. Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Did you get Joe
No.
Mansman? Who did you get?
No.
Oh,
I got
Doug?
Don't Talk to Robots.
I think he's 2 weeks in a row. Doug, congratulations. Don't Talk to Robots. Check out that channel. If you haven't seen Doug's channel, you are missing out on tons of fun. And I'm always going to say it. You're missing out on the finest Ken Griffey Jr. Bellingham rookie, or Bellingham Ken Griffey Jr. cards. All right. Good stuff. Moving on. Shall we get to the top 5 card sales of the week?
Let's do it.
Here we go. All right. Number 5. Okay. I made this list this morning. Again, it changed very slightly, so I'm going to give an honorable mention as well. The card that was shown is a 2023 Bowman Draft Chrome Refractor Wyatt Langford, one of the top guys on the Texas Rangers. I watched a little bit of the Rangers game tonight. I haven't heard much about Wyatt. I don't know if he's still doing good and stuff like that, but his cards are still up there. He does have a lot of promise. We've seen a 7-day increase of 12.3%, 30-day increase of 12.7%. You can pick up this card, if you can find it, raw, for about $40 to $45 on eBay.
Whatever Wyatt Langford is doing, he needs to keep doing so, because the last PSA 10 that was sold, which happened yesterday, sold for $175.
Good Lord. Okay, so I want to do a quick honorable mention, because from the time I made these slides to now, someone else had bumped up into the 5th place here. Don't have an image of it now, but I do want you guys to know that in the top 5 spot currently, it's the 2023 Topps Chrome rookie autograph of Spencer Steer on the Reds, Cincinnati Reds. If you guys haven't heard of Spencer Steer, he is freaking killing it right now on the Reds. Hitting machine. I think Fuzzy said something the other day about him. I think he's like leading the league in hits right now.
Yeah, he is.
He's up there in the statistics. So definitely keep an eye on your Spencer Steer rookie cards as well. All right, let's get to number 4. This is the 2022 Bowman Draft Chrome Refractor First of Jackson Holiday, who just got called up this week. This is the prospect that we've been talking about for months. Matt Holiday's son. He didn't make the opening day roster, so he's been long awaited to come up on the Orioles. He came up, and people are losing their minds. And all I've seen is clips of him dropping baseballs in the infield. I'm sorry. I'm just saying that's what I've seen the most. Now I know he got a hit on his debut and stuff like that, but that's all I've seen. So 7-day increase of 21.7%, 30-day increase of 6.2%. Whoa, this card raw is anywhere between $60 and $75.
I don't see why. But anyway, I digress. So as far as PSA 10s are concerned, there was one that actually sold yesterday, and I don't see how, but it actually sold for $245.
Yep. I mean, I'll give it to everything I've seen of him, like videos of him like coming up and like he looks like he's gonna be amazing. Like his childhood growing up with like Matt Holliday being your dad and all the advantages with you have in baseball and training and stuff. He's gonna be he's gonna be at the very least a decent ball player. So,
but here's a random question. Top 5 aside, is it just me or does the Orioles prospect farm system all look the same?
I've seen that.
Looks like Gunnar looks like Rushman looks,
I've seen that meme where they're talking about do the Baltimore Orioles have a plant that are producing these guys somewhere because they all look like they could be brothers. It is funny. It is funny, the coincidence. All right, let's get to number 3. Not slowing down one bit, we've got the 2022 Bowman Paper Prospect of Ellie De La Cruz. 7-day increase of 48.3%, 30-day increase of 9.5%. This card raw is about $5.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah.
So as far as PSA 10s are concerned, one actually sold yesterday for a hefty $50.
$50 for a paper base card out of Bowman. That's not too shabby,
right?
You get that card out of your pack, or you buy that card for $5. I'm just throwing this out here, and if it's perfect, and you send it to PSA, and you spend like $15 to $20 getting it graded, then you sell it for $50. That's what a lot of mentality people have, but that's not a bad deal. Ellie De La Cruz just 4 days, 4 home runs in a row. I just saw his Topps Now card drop. He's still looking good, so somebody to keep an eye on. All right, next up, we got number 2. You are seeing double, but you're not. This is the Bowman Draft, just Chrome. The one from earlier was the Chrome Refractor. This is just the Chrome base. We've seen a 7-day increase of 21%, 30-day increase of 23.1%. And you can get this card raw for about $30.
And as far as a PSA 10, even though this is just a Chrome, you can get it at $140 even.
Not too shabby. All right, let's get to number 1. Can you guess who it's going to be? This is just the paper base. This is the cheapest Bowman First Jackson Holiday card you can get. 7-day increase of 25.9%, 30-day increase of 21%. You get this card raw for, like $10. Wow. For a paper base on eBay.
Now, for a PSA 10, there was one that sold yesterday, and it actually sold for $75.
I mean, not too shabby. I feel like people in breaks and rips, there's some that don't even ship you the paper. Like they'll only ship the Chrome cards and stuff. I mean,
now it makes me want to start saying, hey, make sure you ship my paper.
It's not crazy money, but like that's
something.
It adds up. I mean, dang. So that was number one of the week. We get all this information on Market Movers, Sports Card Investors site, the free one, all free stuff. Just throwing that out there.
We're gonna remix this a little bit. Who would you like to see on the top 5 next week, Adrian? Or who are you hoping to see?
Zach Geloff from the Oakland A's.
Okay, that's a good choice. If it was me, I would like to see O'Neal Cruz.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good pick too. He is doing really good things on the Pittsburgh Pirates right now. Pirates in general, fun, very fun to watch. I'm glad to see that team doing good things. I'm glad O'Neal Cruz is back and healthy and doing good things in baseball. All right, guys, that's our top 5. That means it's our favorite time of podcast.
Let's go.
Banter time. Let's get it. All right, Mr. Fuego, I'm going to let you go first. You've been holding in all these violent tendencies all week.
All right, so I'm going to try my best not to use profanity. Okay, I'll save that for the after hours show. So in case you're not aware, and for those of you that are listening, in case you were not aware, Sports Card Investor, aka Jeff Wilson, came up with a book, and it just released, and this is probably gonna be $25 that I just threw away because I picked up a copy. Now, I haven't read it in its entirety because, one, I just got it on Thursday, and you'll notice I've got everything that I really want to focus on colored up in tabs. Now, what I feel about this book is, number one, the person who actually did the writing, I give him kudos because it wasn't Jeff and it wasn't Teapot. It's a gentleman by the name of Ben Burrows, who actually was Jeff Wilson's content director and currently a writer for Sports Illustrated. So he's the one who wrote everything in this book. Now, what throws me off is the name of the book is called Sports Card Collecting and Investing. Now, you tell me, what is it about that 13-year-old that screams investment? Don't worry, I'll wait. Okay, that's one. Now, he does go into the basics about what cards are, what sets are, so on and so forth, for those individuals that are new into the hobby. But yet, where I think he missed the mark is he tried to go in on developing this book with a targeted audience versus the span of everybody from novice to self-proclaimed professionals. Okay, because I mean, he even gives us a breakdown on what types of collectors are there in the hobby. I don't know about you, but I don't like to be considered a statistic on something that I feel is unique to me. Okay. If you do like the idea that somebody has a preconceived notion about what collector is, and you feel that you fit into that criteria, do you, boo-boo? But me personally, everybody has their own niche, and everybody always preaches, if you're a collector, there's really no set standard on how to collect. You just collect what you like. Okay. I don't like the idea that I'm having some individual tell me the best way to collect. Okay. Now, as far as investing, that's a different animal. And on top of that, we was talking earlier about start stock. Now, in the book, I do know that this is one of two primary resources Jeff has recommended in this book to use as far as investing purposes. Okay, I haven't read it in its entirety, but I did see that somewhere along in the book somewhere. But I believe this book actually did fall short on a lot of aspects that would benefit ideal collectors, and that this book is more solely focused on anybody who's looking to profit, making it a business, or investing all in all.
Okay. So I haven't seen I haven't seen the book or read the book in person. I'm hoping Mr. Fuego might send it to me when he's done with it, because I'm not spending the money on it. We discussed this beforehand. I'm glad Mr. Fuego did buy it, because we do kind of want to read it and know it to tell y'all out there. But the points Mr. Fuego made is I'm trying to be nice here. I don't know why, but Jeff Wilson, sports card investor, he's got a channel. I think his intentions are to be a positive community member. However, I feel like at the same time he does some hurtful things. Like, why would I buy an investing book from somebody I don't feel like respectfully has made good investments? I feel like a lot of the bad investments he doesn't ever talk about or cover a lot on his channel. I just don't feel like he's been very transparent about a lot of his investing side of things. Now, I could be totally wrong. I don't know exactly what that guy does with his sports card portfolio day to day, because he doesn't share it. He says he does, but he doesn't. So I feel like that book is geared towards somebody that's got like maybe younger kids, or maybe somebody that's like has no idea anything about sports cards at all. And I don't know. God, it takes the fun out of it. I feel like, I don't know. Collecting, like, maybe investing is what you get to, but I feel like sports cards starts off with what you love. And
Right.
then if you want to go into the investing side of things, heck yeah, go for it. I don't know. I just don't know.
But
I don't
see,
know. I'm gonna read this book, and I gotta see what it says
the
in the book.
thing is, though, Adrian, and you and I practiced this since day one. We do our own dry forming of investing, but we invest back into our personal collections, So, like, for example, okay, if I send Adrian a 20 card order to go get graded, and 3 of those 20 happens to be of the same player, whatever the case may be, if they all receive a PSA 10, I'm letting Adrian know, please hold on to 2 of these, find a home for them, and whatever earnings are returned from those investments, they're going to be put towards my next PSA submission. That's basically what it is. That's as far as I'm going. I'm not looking at making any profit. I'm not looking at trying to, what's the term that these kids use nowadays? Trying to cook somebody and making a profit. No, I'm not all about that. I'm just trying to make sure that the collection that I personally have, and I'm not the only one for like my Julio Rodriguez collection, I'm doing everything I can in with the amount of finance that I do have and all my power to have the best Julio Rodriguez collection that I know I can put together. That's about it.
I love it. I'm sorry. I was just sharing some of my favorite comments in the chat on the screen.
It's all good.
While you were discussing it, I just want those of you
who are going to be tuning in on the podcast, go ahead and jump on the YouTube and type in the search bar A League of Her Own. Go to the podcast tab and click on the last link so you can actually see the comments that other collectors alike are saying regarding the topics that we're talking about.
Yes, absolutely. Just it's funny. It's funny. People are heated about this thing because I have the link for the Amazon link for the book in the description if you really, really want to, but I would not recommend buying it. I would recommend doing your own
I will
thing.
be everybody's sacrificial goat.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. All right. Just flashing up the podcast website. You can go on there and give us some comments, give us some reviews and stuff on there. Also got the SeatGeek and the card shells coupon code flashing up there if you guys are into any of that. Shout out to, got a friend in the comments tonight said they used the SeatGeek code for his WrestleMania tickets. Heck yeah. It's awesome. And then if you head over, like I said, to the Baseball Junkies after our show on Mr. Fuego's channel, he's got a whole nother set of coupon codes for you there as well. So,
all right. So I've vented. Now it's your turn.
Oh my God. Okay. Tag. God. I got an email this week. I don't know if Mr. Fuego got it because I'm sure I forwarded it to him. I got an email from Tag talking about all this great new thing they're doing. And I was excited because I'm always hoping Tag is going to move up to the next level. And this whole thing is about their custom cards. I don't even know why I'm showing this to you guys here that are watching. I'm going to show it to you. God. Let's see. Portrait Prism series custom cards, $40 for a mystery portrait prism. So you want to get some custom cards of yourself, and you could buy, so many of them. Buy 2 or 3, get $5 off each. $35 each. It's $35 each is your discounted rate, and you could open them up, your own custom cards that you're asking for, and you can get parallels of yourself, which is I get it. This is a cool idea. Whatever. Here's the commons are the green, blues, and reds. The uncommons are the orange, aqua, and pinks. The rares are the gold and silver. Collect the full set of yourself. I can't with this. I can't. I want you to work on getting to where you can grade cards, man. You can only do like ultra modern stuff right now. Can't authenticate the autos on them. And you're telling me you moving forward to do these things. Let me find here if I can what they can't grade. I feel like this is a big deal. I know they can't do acetate cards. They die cut cards. So even in the modern cards, they can't even they can't do thick cards. I sent that. If you guys, I had a video earlier this week, PSA reveal of a David Ortiz card that I ended up sending in just to get the auto graded because we knew the card wouldn't gem. So the card got authenticated. Auto got a 10. I had sent that card originally to Tag, and they said it was too thick. Even though I measured it, made sure it was within their specifications, they can't grade it. And to me, I sent them a message. I was like, hey, just want to throw my 2 cents in of, about this whole custom card thing. It's like, let me apologize, you guys.
Adrian's trying her best to be PC for everybody.
I know. I'm trying. I'm so frustrated because I really another thing till you do something right. To me, it's just this was a slap in the face. I felt like I said, hey, just the 2 cents. I want I'm just disappointed that this is the next step that you guys are taking moving forward. Custom cards, I really was hoping to get some news about you being able to grade thicker cards, being able to, some of these cards you can't grade. And they responded. They always respond right away. I've always had excellent customer service with them. They said, thank you for reaching out. We truly appreciate your feedback and we'll be sharing it with management. We understand collector frustration with what may feel, let's see, what feel like slow progress in the expansion of tag services. You are not alone in making very reasonable requests that tag expand our services to thicker cards and into the alignment with the services other grading companies provide collectors without issue. The tag custom cards have proven to be a significant hit with our collector and business partners. With successful activations at the Burbank show and Collect-a-Con, these cards are not taking resources away from the development and make use of existing standard size tag slabs. These custom cards serve as high-end samples at conventions of tag slab and branding and as an additional revenue source for tag as we expand and train new hires. While we understand your disappointment in seeing a new tag service, which is not directly tied to the expansion of card grading eligibility, we hope you understand the service is directly tied to tag further development and will be helping fund our future projects and future technological developments.
So what you're
Best
saying
regards.
is they're not prioritizing correctly.
That's kind of how I feel. I feel like they're saying, "Oh, we're making money doing this, and we're using that money towards getting those things done."
It sounds like they're still in the phase of trying to get their name out there.
And they are. I feel like there are other grading companies that other people are like hyped about, but we don't like. People were talking to us previous weeks about like forensic grading, and some people are still on HGA and stuff like that. And there's a lot more to, like Arena Club people. There's some people that are big on that too, and I don't want if you're not PSA or Beckett or SGC, I feel like you're or CCG. Like people aren't paying attention to you, or you're like yet. So I don't know. They felt like the custom card thing is going to help get them in the right direction. So I don't know. Let me know what your guys' 2 cents is on that. I'm annoyed with it. So yeah. And the last thing I wanted to talk about in banter is more news with the Shohei Ohtani and Ipe, like with the whole money like he was spending and stuff. Comes out that he spent over $300,000 on sports cards. Thought that would be a fun thing to talk about in the podcast.
Agreed.
How come he doesn't have a YouTube channel? I was watching him rip or get these cards. That's significant. Those are some significant purchases. This guy's going to prison. That's all. Yeah,
Sure is.
prison. And he was born in the U.S. I believe he's born in the U.S. because if he wasn't, I was like, oh, he's getting deported too. But he is born in the U.S. So prison for you. Good Lord. How did you spend all this money without him knowing?
Just to end the banter on a positive note, Adrian sent me earlier this afternoon a video. Well, first she asked me a question. Have I heard of a company, a store by the name of Through the Decades? Okay. And I, responded with no, never heard of them. So she sent me a video of this store, and I put the link of that video in the chat. For those of you who have had a childhood, this video was for you. Number one, it is confirmed that Cards HQ is not the largest LCS in the nation. Okay, Through the Decades is. And this store is actually 18,000 square feet compared to Cards HQ's measly little 15,000. Okay, but with Through the Decades store is not just trading cards. Okay, which initially I went into this video with negative thoughts in my mind, but then as I was going through the video at about minute 6, I fell in love with it. Okay, not only do they have trading cards, they have gaming consoles from when I was a child. They also have a sports apparel section. They do have, your sport cards. They have their TCGs and everything that you could possibly think of or you've actually got involved with as a kid. They are a store that is located in the Kansas area. Okay. And there's a couple of other stores that's in the Kansas area that I refuse to mention because that's just me. I'm just that bitter. But anyway, through the decades, the collectible market, if you are actually from Kansas or, plan on making a trip to the Kansas area, stop by through the decades. The owner is, and I'm going to go a little ghetto with this one, he's about as real as they come. Okay. So a question was asked to him about what advice would you give to investors, and he couldn't have said it any better. Basically, he was saying that for those that are making the hobby into a business, so on and so forth, one, you need to make sure you have a 401k and a savings because sports cards cannot replicate that. However, they will outrun the previous two, but at the same time, sports cards does not compound interest like a 401k or a savings. And I'm not going to sit here and read off the definition of compound interest, but that made perfect sense, and that stuck with me, and it's going to stick with me for years on end.
So here's the video. Mr. Fuego put it in the chat. I think I put it in the description. I'll make sure I get it if I haven't already. I watched it today. We both enjoyed this video. I know people are going off in the chat right now talking about I don't want large floor space. I want cards. Go watch this video and get the vibe from the owner and the shop. I thought this place was awesome, and the shop I never heard of before, and I feel like I should have heard of it before Cards HQ, before Burbank and things like that. So give it a look-see. It was awesome. Kind of dug the owner, like in his philosophy on things. So yeah. So that is going to be a wrap for the Baseball Card Junkies podcast tonight, guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. Be sure to meet us over on Mr. Fuego's channel, where we'll talk and answer questions in the chat or one-on-one. And have a great weekend. Watch some baseball, open some cards. Have a good one.
And for the listeners, make sure that you catch us on your favorite podcast starting tomorrow.
Booyah. Night, guys.